Also got Lekota from COPE and SONA Sizani, who is the ANC Chief Whip, who we are going to be chatting to. Gentlemen, thanks very much for being with us. It's good to have you on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Good. All right, I'm gonna have to ask. I'm gonna interrupt your conversation. Are you guys catching up?
Yes, no. He's trying to recruit me.
He's trying to pull you back in. Is this what's happening?
But I'm being more successful by winning him over.
Stone, this is on the record. You know this, hey? This is all on the record here. All right, okay, this is what's happening outside of the streets of Parliament, and we're catching it all live. I'm loving this. All right, it's a big day. It's a massive day. It always is. The State of the Nation. We've got the President who'll stand up. He'll talk about how far we've come as a country, how well we've done. From the Freedom Front Plus's perspective, how are you feeling ahead of this day? What are your expectations?
Well, I think it's such an important day, and at a stage where South Africa is currently burning, with more than 6 strikes per day in Gauteng, with more than 30 unrest service delivery protests per day in the country. And what we need today, what we need from the President, is concrete announcements with regards to action plans to address the economic situation, the slow economic growth, these service delivery protests, what is happening on local government level, the infrastructure collapse. But what we are going to see most probably is just a lot of rhetoric with regards to 20 years of ANC government and a lot of electioneering, a lot of promises, but no concrete plans.
Okay. From COPE's point of view, Mosiwa, how are you feeling? Do you share the same sentiments, or you're a little bit different?
Well, first of all, I don't know what President Zuma will do. I don't think there's anything he can really do. First of all, the country has gone into such deep debt in less than 5 years that there's simply no money available for government to act on. Now, with the level of debt and there's no money in the coffers of state, even if the government wants to initiate something, they've squandered all the money that was available to do anything. So there's not much that one can do about this. If he wants to stimulate the economy, he ought to be having reserves of resources. But that money is no longer there. So it seems to me that it would have been more realistic on his part to concede that he has not been able to run the country from President Thabo Mbeki to this point in time. Everything has just fallen apart. And I think he ought to say to the people, look, I'd like to retire and resign and retire. I mean, I've done my bit and there can't be more.
Stone, quite harsh words from opposition parties here. How do you feel hearing some of these things about your leader?
All South Africans all over the world, in fact the whole world today, recognizes that South Africa is a better place to live in since 1994. The gentlemen are raising issues of protest. The study by the Institute of Race Relations indicated that the more you do improvement in the community lives, the more impatient people see that their situation is different from the one whose life has been improved. And then they protest. It does not mean that there's a collapse of the country. It means that people have gotten more impatient. And the improvement that is happening in the country is everybody's knowledge. They can see it. The issue about the coffers of the country having no money is a laughable matter, because Honorable Lekota knows that the country is not living in isolation with the rest of the world. Everywhere in the world there is no money, and the rest of the country's economies are collapsing. South Africa's economy, in fact, has been protected from those vagaries because we have a very good banking system. We have an economy that is steadfast. It's not in recession, but it's not growing as fast as we wish it to grow. With the economic infrastructure that we're putting together now, with the trillion that we are investing, we are changing the course of the development of our economy so that it's all inclusive, so that it captures our resources and improves our skills. And we are importing rare skills to make sure that we hasten the pace of the growth of the economy so that we can create the jobs. this whole thing about the President Zuma running down the country is laughable, because the ANC has actually improved the country. And President Zuma does not operate alone. He works with a collective leadership, and therefore there's more hope in this country. In fact, many South Africans know that the ANC is the only party that has produced a tangible manifesto that indicates the future has hope for our people, and we are determined to create a state that is capable to produce the results that we're looking for.
All right, I know I've got to take an ad break, but I think just a very, very quick response from what the ANC has said.
No, it does not matter whether President Zuma has got people that he's working with. The question is, the issue is whether they are able to do anything. Government is the leading investor in the country. If you're going to stimulate the economy, you must have resources in hand. The hard reality is there simply is no such money, because the debt is so high. It's consumed everything we had. And one of the biggest misspending is the amount of consumption. Government, the cabinet and deputy ministers and deputy ministers, 64. It's one of the biggest cabinet in the world. For a country of only about 47...
51 million.
Okay, even if you say that. Countries that have 300 million people have cabinets that are much smaller than that. And then you have a huge bloated administration, which the Minister of Finance complains about every year. This is the biggest consumer. And the president is simply not prepared to do anything about reducing it to the size that's affordable. So much of them, whatever money remains, is being consumed by all the hangers on around him.
All right.
It's sad. There's simply nothing that is going to say that is going to be constructive.
All right, that's Mosiwe Lekota from COPE. Very quickly, I'm giving you 30 seconds, then we've got to go to an ad break. Wouter, I almost see two political parties agreeing with one another. It doesn't happen too often.
Yes, it happens on certain issues, but on this issue it will happen. There's a very big difference between hope and sugarcoating. And that's what the ANC is doing. They are sugarcoating the situation in South Africa. We have such a very big crisis with regards to economy, with regards to unemployment. We need new policies. We need a review of labor laws to address the unemployment rate, to address the strike that's happening currently. We need new policies. We don't need sugarcoating. That's not giving South Africa hope.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for talking to us. Let's take a break. We'll see you after this. Stay tuned.